In today's quick fix edition, we're going to be looking at how to improve your posture in a minute or less. Okay, we're going to be talking about your posture just for a moment. It's what your mom was nagging you about when you were a kid. Sit up straight, don't slouch, and all that. Well, here's the thing. It's not a conscious effort. We actually developed upright posture before we actually had the ability to be conscious. Homo sapien arrived after we became upright on both feet. So to really consciously think of coordinating 206 bones, 360 joints, 635 muscles, it's kind of ridiculous. So I love you, Mom, but slouching is not something I'm going to try and consciously control. I'd rather do something for a minute or so that targets my unconscious brain and gets me going for the day. So if we think about posture, it's kind of like these markers that I've had connected and stacked on top. We should see that I might be able to balance this stack of pens pretty easily as long as I can maintain its upright position. Now, as soon as it tilts over, well, we know bad things will happen if this were, say, glass or even our bodies. In fact, it's kind of like our bodies. Top of the cap is my head. Here's my neck, shoulders, maybe my spine, hips, thighs, knees, and lower legs. As long as all these load-bearing joints maintain a nice vertical alignment with each other, then that means that the muscles that surround my frame aren't going to be pulling me one way or the other. Some muscles aren't going to be shorter than their counterparts on the other side that are getting pulled apart. But that's what happens when our posture goes askew, as it slightly gets distorted. For instance, if my knees begin to bend, that joint gets out of this ideal alignment. So the muscles perhaps in my calves or the front of my lower legs, my quadriceps or hamstrings in the back of the thighs, all those may tighten up. I also know that when my knees bend, it has a tendency to flex my hips. So now my hips may be out of alignment and my hip flexors and glutes and lower back, and then all the muscles up my spine are now having to reorganize how they're supporting a body with bent knees, or a rotated hip, or a flexed hip, or a shoulder that rounds forward. There's a whole bunch of ways we can distort our posture. So quick fix, 1 minute. The inclined plane back behind me is what I'm going to stand on. You can use a rolled up towel or some tome. There's no phone books today anymore, so get yourself an old dictionary if you still have those and you don't use autocorrect on your phones or your computer. You're going to take this inclined plane somewhere where you can hold on evenly with both hands. You're going to place your feet upon the inclined plane so that they're pointing straight ahead, as if they're pointing right to north or 12 o'clock. And really look down at your feet, because what you might think is a straight line, your brain has been telling you it's been a straight line, but truly use your eyes and you'll find, oh my gosh, my foot kind of turns out. I didn't even know that. For those that did know that, make sure you look down and make sure it's not happening. So as I stand in this posture, I'm going to encourage my legs to straighten out. I'm going to encourage my hip to be above my knees, knees above the ankles. So just like those markers, I'm just trying to get a nice straight line. For that matter, my shoulders and my head want to be in alignment with that as well. Now, a lot of people are going to say, "Ooh, I feel quite a calf stretch." Yeah, you most likely will. And as you hold it there for about a minute, more might be revealed, because it's not just the calves we're stretching out. We're actually lengthening the muscles underneath the arch of your feet, or the soles of your feet, called the plantar muscles. And they attach your heel to all 5 toes. And then the calf muscles, they actually attach to some level to those plantar muscles. And they can run all the way up those calf muscles into the hamstrings. And the hamstrings attach to some ligaments right near your sacrum, and then the muscles that go up your spine are attached to that, all the way up to the base of your skull. And believe it or not, there's muscles that come over your head and end at your eyebrows. So your big toe, in some sense, is all the way connected up to your eyebrows. Now, as I get my joints back into more aligned position, there's a few things that you're most likely going to experience. One is you're probably going to feel taller, because you're not so compressed and gravity isn't really having its significant effect on you when you're aligned. Not only are you going to feel taller, but you're probably going to feel lighter, because that heaviness of gravity is now driving through your bones and not weighing down on your muscles or other tissue. And the other thing you'll probably feel is grounded, like you have much better connection with the planet. Don't want to get too out there, but it's good to be grounded. It's always good to be grounded. Keep your head in the clouds, but keep your feet on the ground. You know what that's like. So give that a shot. Maintain a nice tall posture. Use a mirror, because what you think is happening and what really is happening is probably a little different, because your unconscious mind has been sending signals to your body that are maybe a little bit mixed, telling one leg to do this while the other one's doing that, telling one hip to rotate one way or the other. This is just a simple fix for about a minute. You can hold it up to 2 or so. Walk around and see how that feels. You can do it often. I would say several times a day, especially if you've got night cramps in the lower legs when you go to bed and they wake you up and you kick the sheets off. Do this before you go to bed every night and see how it feels. Let me know.